portátil o de escritorio, una vez que hayamos terminado con este anuncio, verá un globo terráqueo en la parte de abajo a la derecha de su pantalla. Por favor, seleccione el icono del globo terráqueo que dice Interpretación y seleccione Español. Si está usando un iPad o un dispositivo similar, ubique el menú de 3 puntos en la parte de arriba hacia la derecha y seleccione Interpretación de idiomas. Luego seleccione Español. Cuando sea su turno de hablar, por favor recuerde hablar claro y en voz alta y a un ritmo moderado, ya que el intérprete interpretará simultáneamente al otro idioma.
歡迎各位嚟參加今日嘅兒童保育同埋發展過渡期更新線上會議。為方便閣下，今次嘅線上會議會係用西班牙語同埋廣東話啦即時傳譯。如果你係使用手提電腦或者係桌面電腦，請喺螢幕右下方，你會睇到一個地球嘅標誌。請點擊呢個標誌傳譯 Interpretation 嘅地球標誌，然後選擇廣東話嘅語言。如果你係使用平板電腦 iPad 或者類似嘅電子產品，請喺右上方有3點嘅符號。喺選項之中選擇語言傳譯 Language Interpretation， 然後選擇廣東話。多謝各位。Thank you.
Thank you. And so good afternoon. I'm so excited to be here with you today to provide an update on the CDSS program towards the policy objectives of the Child Care Development Transition. Again, I am Dr. Lupe Jaime Milam, and I'm the Deputy Director for the Child Care and Development Division. This webinar covers updates featured in our quarterly report to the legislator, which was published on July 1st of 2023. We will drop the link to the report and the executive summary into the chat. This quarter marks the second year anniversary of the Child Care and Nutrition Program's transition to CDSS. The transition is part of a large state-level reform to streamline and unify child care and development system governance with the goal of building a more inclusive, equitable, and sustainable child care system for children in California. Over the past 2 years, historic investments in childcare and development programming has stabilized the childcare sector and increased access to the subsidized childcare system. This year's May revised proposed state budgets for California for childcare and development programs of $5.6 billion. 10 years ago, in 1819, only $1.7 billion was allocated for childcare and development programming. During this webinar, we will give you an update about our progress towards rate and quality reform. We will also provide an overview of our STEAM starters, Tinkering for Early Learning modules, which are available to every member of the childcare and development workforce. And after that, we will dive into pandemic relief updates and take about a 5-minute break, and then we'll conclude with our programmatic updates. At the end of this call, we will also have time for questions and answers, as well as take any comments. Before we begin, I want to do some housekeeping. You can post questions in the questions and answers, and you can also able to upvote them. Before you ask a question, please look at the questions and answers to see if your question is already there. If it is, then you can upvote it. We will answer questions in the order of the most votes that have been received. With that, I'm going to pass it over to our program innovation, policy, and branch chief Anna Levine.
Good afternoon. I am again Anna Levine, and I am delighted to give you an update this afternoon on our progress toward rate and quality reform. We've made significant progress toward historic changes to California's rate and quality structure. We're building on Governor Newsom's administration and the California State Legislature enactment of AB 131 in 2021, which that legislation formed a rate and quality stakeholder work group, which some of you may have participated in, and a JLMC, who submitted findings with recommendations for moving to a single rate structure using an alternative methodology. In response, CDSS officially requested pre-approval from the Administration for Children and Families for California to move to an alternative methodology to inform state child care subsidy rates. The alternative methodology for which we've requested approval will employ a cost study and a cost estimation model to understand the actual costs of delivering childcare and early learning programs in the state. CDSS is working with national experts, Prenatal to 5 Fiscal Strategies, who are the same group who did the cost study last year, to design and implement the proposed alternative methodology approach. As part of this process, P5 Fiscal Strategies and CDSS will consult and engage with a broad diversity of early care and education entities and partners, including parents and early educators across the state, to collect data, validate model assumptions, and create a model for alternative methodology. And that process of data collection is going to start with surveys and input sessions this month. Next slide, please. Sorry. So on May 15th, 2023, CDSS and P5 Fiscal Strategies reconvened members of the Rate and Quality Work Group to establish the new Rate and Quality Advisory Panel, because again, we're building on the work of the Rate and Quality Work Group. We heard at that meeting the sense of urgency in the field to move to a single rate structure based on cost of care as soon as possible. And at the same time, participants expressed a profound fatigue with work groups and surveys and uncertainty about whether participating in the alternative methodology process now underway will be effective in bringing about a single rate structure based on cost of care. We clarified and would reassert that the alternative methodology process now underway is building on the recommendations made by past work groups, including the Rate and Quality Work Group. Very specifically, the Rate and Quality Work Group, I should say, the recommendations, the alternative methodology process will align with the and build on the JLMC and Rate and Quality Work Group recommendations. And the data collection is happening this summer. And the data collection that's happening this summer will inform the rates that go into our next state plan, which is due July 1st, 2024, and covers the October 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2026 period, which is the next federal fiscal period. So it's moving, we're moving forward. The next Rate and Quality Advisory Panel meeting will take place on July 19th, 2023 from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And we will be sending out, we sent out a notice for that, and we'll be sending out an agenda for that and posting it shortly. We will also place a link to our Rate and Quality webpage in the chat right now. And this is the webpage you can go to find materials and information about upcoming Rate and Quality Advisory Panel meetings, as well as information about past meetings. Now I'm going to hand things over to Heather.
Thanks, Anna. I'm excited to share that in March 2023, CDSS launched a series of modules titled STEAM Starters, Tinkering for Early Learners, in partnership with WestEd and the Exploratory Museum of San Francisco. STEAM Starters teaches members of the child care and development workforce how to introduce tinkering, a play-based approach to exploration and learning to young children to support their science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics learning, or STEAM learning. The modules are free and available to every member of the workforce on the California Early Childhood Online or CECO website. They are also available in English and Spanish and are compatible with both mobile devices and computers. Participants who take the module can earn professional development hours and a certificate of professional development after completing the module. New video content has been developed and will be added to the existing modules in late July of this year. These new videos showcase center-based family childcare and family friend and neighbor providers sharing their personal stories and experiences with tinkering with young children. If you have already explored the STEAM Starters modules yourself in the past, we encourage you to revisit them later this month to explore this new content. There will be an email announcement released from CDSS when the new videos are available to view. Next, we're going to show you a video from the STEAM Starters module. Next slide, please. The video we're going to share with you is from the STEAM Starters modules, and it's titled, "What is Tinkering?" And it introduces the concept of tinkering and showcases children in various childcare settings exploring tinkering concepts and engaging in activities with light and shadow, unstable tables, and ramps and rollers. Enjoy.
Play helps kids discover for themselves. And I think through tinkering, it has really brought it out to me, and I try to get it across to the kids that this is math, this is science, this is something that we've been doing all along, but we just didn't realize this is what we were doing.
Tinkering contributes to them being ready because it broadens their mind. It makes them open to things that they can do. They're ready to try to get in there and do something.
It's an approach to investigating a phenomena directly with their hands, their mind, their heart. Children are trying to investigate something, and they are working with materials. They are trying to test out their ideas. They are working with their friends to try to come up with some type of solution, some type of, how does this work in the world?
Tinkering is a hands-on approach to learning based on playing with phenomena, that is, ideas that can be explored by observing, experimenting, and making things. Tinkering involves using tools, playing with materials, and collaborating with others in order to build understanding about the world and develop new ideas about science and art. Along the way, we hope that tinkering will also impact your own way of thinking about learning. With practice, tinkering can help both children and the educators that support them to develop an inventive disposition, that is, a joyful attitude toward learning based on creativity and imagination. This is similar to children's natural tendency toward play and exploration, and that makes the tinkering approach great for early childhood. There is a lot of thought that goes into the tinkering approach, but we can boil it down to 4 essential qualities that make this approach unique and powerful. They are focused exploration, purposeful play, learner choice, and collaborative learning.
Thank you for showing that. I hope you guys enjoyed a sneak peek into the STEAM Starters modules. We placed a link to the CECO website in the chat so you can explore the modules for yourselves or share with other early educators who might be interested. Now I'm going to hand it over to Rachel.
Thanks, Heather. Over the next few slides, we will share details about California's pandemic relief programs for childcare. Next slide, please. Our ARPA survey deadline has been extended to August 15th. After this date, the survey will be closed. We currently have 79,000 survey entries, so thanks to all you providers who've completed your surveys. This number has not been deduplicated yet, but it's still an impressive number. The $1,442 stipends, supplemental rate payments, and rate supplements will be issued after survey completion. You can visit our ARPA survey website to access the survey and learn more about the survey, and we'll place the link in the chat. Next slide, please. AB 179 authorized the distribution of one-time stipends in the amount of $1,442 per child enrolled in subsidized childcare in April 2022. Stipends are meant to help providers with hardships caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and are going out now. All provider types who serve children receiving CDSS-funded subsidized childcare in April 2022 are eligible for stipends. Family, friend, and neighbor providers who served children in April 2022 but are no longer serving children enrolled in a voucher program are not eligible. Funds were distributed to alternative payment programs the first week of May and were required to send out the stipends 45 days after receipt of funding. Direct service center-based programs will receive stipend funding once their sites reach 100% ARPA survey completion. Providers must complete an ARPA survey before stipend payments will be released, and APPs are responsible for providing technical assistance to childcare providers to help them complete the survey. You can find out information about the stipends on our stipend webpage, and we'll share that link with you as well. And Assembly Bill 110 authorized the distribution of one-time rate supplements based on April 2022 enrollment information. All provider types who serve children receiving CDSS-funded subsidized childcare in April 2022 are eligible for these payments. Same as with the AB 179 stipend, the family, friend, and neighbor providers who serve children in April 2022 but are no longer serving children are not eligible. Title V programs will receive rate supplement funding once their sites reach 100% ARPA survey completion. And like the 1442 stipends, providers must complete an ARPA survey before the funding will be released. And next, I'll turn it to Monica.
Hello, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the minor renovation grant program first. A total of $200.5 million was allocated for the minor renovation and repair infrastructure grant program in response to the request for applications RFA for this funding. Also, let me pause. I want to make sure everyone can hear me, so I'm trying to talk as loud as possible. But CDSS received over 5,000 applications from family child care homes and centers. Applicants were required to be licensed and have at least one bid for construction work or proof of payment for prior construction or minor repair and renovation work. CDSS has notified over 3,700 applicants to date, so quite a bit. CDSS, in partnership with the Low Income Investment Fund, continues to support a tremendous request for technical assistance from grantees to support completed grant packages. CDSS is providing technical assistance through LIF to support the proper completion of forms. Grantees requesting more time to complete projects should reach out to their assigned LIF officer for more information. Payments are being issued on a rolling basis, and if you have any questions about payments, please contact the CCDD facilities at dss.ca.gov email for more information. Once all awards are finalized, a complete funding list will be made available to the public on the CDSS website. The funding list will include an allocation map to indicate where funding was allocated across the state. And that's all for the minor renovation. For the major renovation, newer grants, the new construction and major renovation requests for applications, RFA2 was released on November 22nd, 2022. The grant will award $150 million in state general funds to expand access to the child care and development and preschool opportunities for children up to 5 years of age. Eligible projects will include, but are not limited to, renovation and construction projects to expand facilities, activities to comply with the Americans with Disability Act, ADA, for indoor and outdoor and fire safety projects. And I'll just add one note is these projects are to expand licensing capacity. The request for applications closed on January 31st, 2023, with a total of 1,850 applicants. We are in the process of scoring applicants. We will notify ineligible applicants starting in spring of 2023, and the eligible applicants we will start notifying in fall of this year. If you have any questions, you can reach out to our facility subject matter partners at LIF, at childcare CA at LIF, LIIF fund.org. And last, you can visit the infrastructure grant website, majorconstruction.ca. Sorry, the major construction website, and I'm sorry it's not listed on here. I can definitely forward that to anyone who needs it. And thank you so much. I will pass it on to Lupe, and I believe we have a 5-minute break.
Thank you, Monica. So at this point in the presentation, I'm going to invite you to take a 5-minute break. Please use this time to stretch or gather a snack or light refreshments. And being that it is 5 minutes on my watch, it's 2:23. So we'll be back at 2:28. So we'll talk to everyone soon. Thank you. I hope everyone was able to have a mini break during these 5 minutes. I want to welcome everyone back. Over the next few slides, our team will share programmatic updates. And with that, I will now turn it over to Sean to provide the next update. Thank you.
Thank you, Lupe, and good afternoon, everyone. We at the CDSS Child and Adult Care Food Program Branch, CACFPB, felt that this meeting would be a good moment to describe the evolution of our program within the CDSS over the past 2 years and what we are looking to for in the next year. So throughout the first year after the transition, the CACFP branch focused on integrating into the CDSS organization with minimal impact to CACFP operators. Almost seamlessly, multiple divisions within CDSS learned about the nuances of the Child and Adult Care Food Program, programmatic rules and systems to continue to provide federal and state reimbursements to our 1,350 sponsors and over 23,000 centers and providers. Additionally, during this period, the CACFP staff began working towards integrating the following 7 guiding principles into the administration of the CACFP, focusing on equity, actively listening, using data to drive action, seeing the whole person, putting the person back in person-centered, cultivating a culture of innovation, and delivering on outcomes. Through the second year of the transition, July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, CDS is both embracing and delivering on these principles. Here are just a few of the results the CDSS has produced over the past year. We established the Program Integrity and Data section in the CACFP branch. In partnership with CDSS's Research Automation and Data Division, the new section is tasked with building data literacy competencies in the CACFP branch and establishing data collection and analysis practices that align with department standards, including embedding data equity choices throughout the data lifecycle. CDSS CACFP created a pilot program to provide procurement instructions in Spanish. With the pilot program nearly complete, the branch will look to translate nutrition and general policy documents into Spanish as well. The third accomplishment is the CACFP branch worked with multiple divisions to update the claim instruction handbook. Since reimbursements are critical topics, CDSS is excited to provide sponsors with current and detailed resources to assist in understanding the complex world of CACFP reimbursement claims. We also were able to issue the Daycare Home Expansion Grant this year. Working with multiple divisions in CDSS, the CACFP branch was able to issue grant awards to our daycare home sponsors so that they can increase the number of providers on our program. Over the coming year, CDSS CACFPB will continue to build upon this foundation of equity, inclusivity, communication, trust, and respect. Next, I'll pass it on to Anna Franklin. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. The General Child Care and Development Program, CCTR, is a subsidized child care program that serves children from birth to 12 years old, as well as older children with exceptional needs. CCTR programs include an educational component that is developmentally, culturally, and linguistically appropriate for the children served. The programs also provide nutritious meals and snacks to children, parent education, referrals to health and social services for families, and staff development opportunities. CCTR program expansion funding was available for child care centers, family child care home education networks, and public agencies such as school districts. The expansion funding could be used to expand existing CCTR programs or to open a new program. There were 2 funding opportunities for fiscal year 22-23 CCTR expansion. During round 1, just over 89 million was awarded, and during round 2, almost 170 million was awarded for just over 10,000 slots. All round 1 awardees were notified of their award status by April 2023, and contracts for those awardees will be distributed beginning in early July. All round 2 awardees were notified of their award status by June 2023, and it is anticipated that contracts for those awardees will be distributed in fall of 2023. For questions regarding the CCTR expansion,
please contact the CCTR RFA inbox, and the address is being put in the chat now. Now I'll turn it over to Brendan McMillan.
Hi, Anna. Thank you. And hi, everyone. Happy almost weekend to everybody. So a couple updates on the Brilliant Beginnings initiative. Over the last quarter, we continue to work with the California Child Care Resource and Referral Network on mychildcareplan.org. So there's a couple usability updates that will be coming to the site over the next month or so that should have some added functionality. And then also we have a transparency update to the site, which adds a number of providers that currently aren't on the website. And so that's for federal regulatory purposes. For that update, there will be a CCB and a PIN that will be released prior to the launch of those updates. So more information will be included there. And then also we've been working on some planning for long-term sustainability and enhancements to our consumer education mandates and services that we provide. And so more specifically, that is for AB 2960 from 2018, and just a little bit about some of the enhancements to consumer education that we could see in the next couple of years are closer connections to R&Rs and APPs for families through the consumer education portal. And then also in that mandate, we have access to some screening for subsidized care through the online portal, and then also a way to access waiting lists through that portal. So some pretty cool enhancements that we could see in the next couple of years. And we've just started the planning for that. And so we're looking forward to working with all of our partners and our communities to work towards those enhancements. More to come on that over the next couple of months. So be on the lookout for some communication there. And that's pretty much it. So I will turn it over to Riston.
Thank you, Brandon. Hello, my name is Riston Woolley, and I'm the Interim Director for the California Head Start State Collaboration Office. The Collaboration Office engages with state partners, including the California Department of Education, on behalf of Head Start grantees and agencies in California. In the coming months, the Collaboration Office will be closing out activities for the fiscal year 22-23. These activities include finalizing the local partnership model document created by the Collab Office and the Transitional Kindergarten Work Group. Once approved, this document will be added to the California Head Start State Collaboration Office as part of the Head Start and Universal Transitional Kindergarten Toolkit. The purpose of this document is to assist the field with planning and implementing local partnership models to support parent choice and community planning to best serve and support children and families. For fiscal year 23-24, excuse me, the Collaboration Office will be developing strategies to meet the Federal Office of Head Start priorities, the needs of the state and local partnerships, and continued collaborations with various state partners. These strategies include attending Head Start cluster meetings, finalizing the needs assessment and annual report, and gathering input from Head Start grantees throughout the state. Next, I'll pass it to Roseanne.
Thank you, Riston. Hello, I'm Roseanne Pitts, and I'm an administrator with the PQIB branch, and happy to be here today with you. The Child Care and Development Division Program Quality and Improvement Branch continues to provide support, policy direction, and oversight to subsidize child care and development programs across California. Looks like my video is not working. Let's try again. Sorry about that. During the fourth quarter, PQIB completed 24 contract monitoring reviews, as well as an error rate review on the agencies that we visited. The fiscal year totals for 22-23 included 77 site visits, Of those, 16 were initial monitoring visits, 58 were error rate reviews with error rate reviews with complete monitoring reviews, and 3 of them were follow-up visits. It's always a pleasure to be out seeing the programs, and it is really the core of what we enjoy doing in PQIB. In April, PQIB hosted an in-person training in the LA area for new contractors. 33 staff of the newly funded agencies attended, and these were agencies funded during 21-22. The training included a presentation, hands-on opportunity for completing the application for services and notice of actions, and a tour of a model state-funded toddler program. We plan to do more of these visits coming up and more of these trainings so that new agencies can get the information they need. Our program integrity and improvement staff have been completing the Payment Integrity Information Act, PIA, which previously was called IPERIA. This report has been finalized and submitted to the Administration of Children and Families, ACF. We will share the results of the trainings at our next meeting. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being with you today. Now I'm going to turn it over to Lupe.
Thank you, Roseanne, and thank you everyone for these updates. Want to just appreciate everyone for providing these programmatic updates as well as keeping us informed. We will now begin today's question and answer session for today's committee input call. Let's go to the next slide. Actually, let me leave it here. So let's first do this. We're going to take questions, of course, in regards to the report out that we have for today. And then, of course, if there's any feedback that you would like to continue to provide us, we're always happy to receive that too. So with that, I think most of the questions that are in the chat have been answered. So I am now going to ask Jigna to see if there's anyone with their hand raised that we can call upon for this segment.
Good afternoon, Lupe. We have a hand raised from Deborah Corley Marzette. Deborah, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you for that. And great to see this department staying on top of things and supporting family daycare providers throughout the great state of California. I do have a question about the ARPA, if you can answer that for me. As providers are asking, in the last meeting for the update on the ARPA one of the last meetings was on May the 10th, which was on a Wednesday. I asked a specific question about the funds being released, and I was answered that next week, meaning that anytime from the 15th to the 19th of May, those funds were going out. And I asked the question also that the 45 days, when can we start those 45 days? And my understanding was anytime after the 19th. So that's 45 business days after the 19th. Is that correct? Because providers are asking, where are those funds? Where are the funds? Some agencies and networks have received the funds and others haven't. And I'm patiently trying to understand 45 working days after the 19th of May is when we should receive those funds. And if not, that's when providers can start calling the state and notifying you that agencies are not releasing them. Can you please help providers and answer that for us, Dr. Lupe, and someone?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. And hi, Deborah, I hope you're well. So great question. So yes, so the key thing is when the contractors release the receive the funding. So as we're looking at that, the majority of the contractors should have received the funding that week that we were talking about. However, there is a couple of providers that I can say that they did not receive their funding for one reason or another. Here's an example of that. For instance, if a contractor has received, for instance, they have center-based children or contracts, and they also have a fetch-in, right? So what happens is that when we receive 100% of those ARPA surveys from the center base, then we could release then the entire monies. We don't have a way of parsing out what is a fetch-in and what is their own contract. At this point, we think we had contacted all the ones that are in this area, and they should, if they haven't already, started to release. But those are just a subset of the group. Going back to what you're saying, the bulk of the providers should have received their monies already. And then after that, contractors have 45 days, like you've mentioned, to release those dollars to the providers. If you find that there is providers that did not receive their funding up to now, we're asking for you to please reach out. I'll have the team put an email in the chat so we can follow up. Many providers have already started to call us or email me or others, just to make sure that we are also following up, and we're obviously providing updates as soon as we get a hold of the contractor to find out how we can support them in releasing these funds. But appreciate everyone that has already contacted us. I think we've been handling most of those already, but I do have to say that most providers at this point should already start to receive those dollars. Let me pause, Deborah, for a minute and see if Rachel has anything else to add that I did not mention.
Thank you.
Nope, Lupe, you got it.
Okay, thank you, Deborah.
And Deborah, you can email me if you have any specific scenarios you want to bring to my attention.
Okay, great. That will work well. Now, then I'm asking, and that was really great when you said to Dr. Lupe that you're going to put an email in the chat. Now, is that for providers can contact the state directly? Is that email also available on the website where the AB 179 is located? Is it, so that just in case the providers who are not here, unfortunately, in the stakeholder meetings, and I wish they were, if they can go to the website and have that same email there available to them, we can direct them there.
Rachel, do you know if that email is in the website? And if it's not, we'll put it up, because that's a great suggestion, by the way.
Okay, I thank you so much. And again, thank you, Dr. Lupe, to your team and all for everything that you're doing for the providers of California. We deserve this, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you again.
Thank you, Deborah. Rachel, is the email on the website?
Yeah, it's up there.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Yeah, in multiple places, I think, but I'll see if I can make sure it's on that ARPA survey webpage.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Jigna, do we have anyone with their hand raised?
At this time, we don't have any hands raised.
Okay, perfect. Let me jump to some of the questions in the chat. So let me answer this one live. So the first one in the chat is, do you anticipate new funds to be released for more fetch-in programs? And so we just, the CCTR contract that we had provided a update in today's presentation, contractors could choose, and there is some that had chosen to be able to operate those new awardee funds as fetch-ins. And so we're excited to share that, because that means that we will be expanding on fetch-ins of that. As we get the budget finalized, we will be providing more information in regards to whether there is future opportunity for more fetch-ins to be part of the contracts. Okay, and then we also got another question regarding the Cantonese Chinese interpretation. Oscar, thank you so much for this feedback, and we'll definitely take it to heart, and happy to make sure that we continue to improve in areas. So again, want to acknowledge your feedback in regards to the interpretation, and also feel very strongly that we want to make sure that this is an area where we always excel, because being able to understand during our meetings and discuss with us is just as critical for us too. So thank you for that. And then the last one on here is in regards to one, let me read it in Spanish. Disculpa y los cheques que mandaron ya nos llevaron a mandar y que pase si necesitamos por lo que tenemos niños o qué tipo de ayuda vamos a tener. Okay. Brenda, ¿puede usted hablar un momentito para explicarme su comentario? So Brenda, are you able to unmute so you can go further on your question? And Jigna, the person is Brenda Burgos, B-U-R-G-O-S. I just want to make sure that I'm tracking her question correctly.
Yes.
I don't know if we can find her and unmute her.
Let me see if I can. In the meanwhile, we do have another hand raised, but let me find Brenda first.
Sí, ya me apareció. Hola, soy yo, Brenda Burgos.
Hola, Brenda.
Gracias por atender mi pregunta. Sí, yo quería saber si ustedes van
Thank
a
you for answering my question. I just wanted to
cheques
know
o ya.
if you were going to be able to help us with the checks, or they are not going to send any more checks, because in my case, I don't have enough children. So we're not going to receive that help because the checks that you already sent, to be honest, it was a great help for me.
Sí, está hablando porque ya ve que hubo muchos expedientes este último año.
So, you know, this last year we had a lot of files, but if you're talking about the checks that they were giving monthly through the union, so I would recommend that you call the union to talk about what we have negotiated this last time, so that they can give you more information. Okay, thank you.
Asking Brenda if she had asked if there was a monthly payment that was that could continue, similar to what had happened in the past. I had told her that that was part of the union negotiation, the first bargaining agreement, and had also suggested that if I can recommend for her to speak to the union in regards to this latest negotiation. I know that there's next steps to ratify, but love for her to be able to connect with them in regards to another historic bargaining agreement. And I'm going to pause and see if Deborah would like to add to this too. I know she had her hand raised, and I'm not sure if it's related or not.
I have to apologize, Dr. Lupe. You wanted me to elaborate on the contract?
Oh, not that you need to, but just the provider itself was asking about the monthly payments that the union was able to negotiate with the state for the first agreement. And she's asking if there would be a continuation of that moving forward. And so I had said that there was a second agreement, but I know that I'm encouraging her to talk to the union about that second agreement. Wanted to see if you wanted to take time to say anything else on that. And you don't have to either.
Oh, no. Thank you so much, Dr. Lupe, for that. I appreciate it. But so what I would like to add to that is that there will be union meetings. So there'll be more detail on receiving that particular information. And yes, you're correct. The stipend, which was actually wasn't a stipend, it was a supplemental payment. Those did end June of 2023. But if you would attend the meeting that CCPU is going to be having for providers, you will get great detail for our next contract that we signed and won with the state, but not won, but signed with the state, but yet has to be ratified. So I would say attend the meeting so you can get more in-depth information about that. Dr. Lupe, thank you for the opportunity to ask that question. And I do have another question, if I can, and I truly hope I answered that for the provider. Thank you so much. I think I kind of missed something about the AB 110. If you can kind of explain that to me again on the AB 110. I'm not familiar with that. I have to apologize.
No worries. Rachel, can I have you unmute and be able to provide an update on AB 110 as part of your update?
Sure. So AB 110 was signed, I think, in May, and it is using some of the unspent ARPA money that was earmarked for rate increases to provide another payment to providers. It's just to be able to use unspent ARPA money by the federal liquidation date, which is September 30th. So that's a recent development, and we are in the process of finalizing a contract with the Foundation for California Community Colleges to issue the payments similar to the AB 179 payment distribution. And it'll be based on April 2022 enrollment, just like AB 179. The amounts are not yet established, but those payments will be forthcoming. They'll be released sometime, hopefully soon, and by September 30th of this year.
Okay, great, Rachel. Now, and there's no survey to fill out. It will be automatic?
The survey is required because it is ARPA money, but it's the same eligibility criteria as AB 179. So it's the same pool of providers from April 2022. So anybody who got AB 179 stipend will automatically get, quickly get the AB 110 payment. And then any new providers who are able to complete the survey by August 15th will get both if they're eligible.
Okay, and again, so if I automatically receive the AB 179, I will automatically receive AB 110 without filling out anything for AB 110.
If they've already done the survey,
Correct.
and they're
Correct.
eligible, they don't have to fill anything out. They
Correct.
do, all the same rules apply as applied to AB 179, those ARPA rules. So they have to be open and available to provide care, and the license exempt providers that are no longer providing care aren't eligible, and they have to do the survey. But if they already did it, they're done. If they're paid by the foundation, they've already done the W-9, they're done. They don't have to do it again.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rachel, for the update and information. Again, Dr. Lupe, thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Jigna, anyone else with their hand raised?
Yes, Jeanette Flores. Jeanette, can you please unmute yourself? Jeanette? Jeanette, you're unmuted.
Bueno, ¿me escucha?
Sí, sí la escucho. Buenas tardes.
Hello, can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Hola, ¿me escucha?
Hello,
Sí.
can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me, Jeanette?
¿Sí me escucha?
Sí la
Can you
escucho.
hear me?
¿Puede escuchar?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Jigna, so it looks like I can hear her, but for some reason she can't hear us.
Ya la escuché, ya la estoy escuchando.
Oh, okay.
Now I can hear you. Okay. What's your question?
Señora Janet, no la puedo escuchar. Parece que está bien bajito el volumen.
Miss Janet, I cannot hear you. It seems like the volume went down.
So Jigna, I think she's speaking, but it's very soft, her volume. Señora Janet, mucha pena, pero no la puedo escuchar.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Janet. I cannot hear you. Your volume is too low.
Are we able to send
¿Ahora
Janet?
sí me escucha?
Sí, ¿me escucha a mí?
Now you can hear me? Yes, can you hear me?
Sí la escuchamos.
We can hear you.
¿Sí me escucha ahora?
Sí.
You can hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
Bueno, tengo problemas con el escucharlas, no las
I
escucho, no sé
have
si-
issues with
Pero es-
hearing you, but that's my question that I used to take care of my nephew. I don't take care of him anymore, but I don't know if I still qualify. And I am not aware of how much they are giving or if I even qualify for any stipend from 2022. Thank you.
Recibir los expedientes.
So in order to be able to receive the stipends, you would still have to be taking care of the children. Those are for who is the providers who are still providing services to the children. What we can do is that after this session, maybe we can locate your email, or maybe you can give us your email with a question, or send us an email with a question so that we can make sure we have all the information. And
Of time that she had watched the children and is no longer watching the children at this point, therefore was curious about the stipend itself, whether she qualified. I shared that the stabilization dollars are to stabilize the field, meaning that they would still need to, as a requirement, need to continue to care for children in order to be eligible. However, because her information was a bit choppy because of our technology, I invite her to please put her email in the chat, or we will try to see if there's a way to locate her email via the registration to be able to connect with her and then provide more information. Make sure we have captured all her information correctly so we can answer her question. Okay, that will take us to the end of our segment. Let me go ahead and go to the next slide. So as a reminder then, our next quarterly stakeholder update call will be scheduled for October 2023. We will send out an invite over the listserv regarding that next meeting. Let's go to the next slide. Now, I also want to take a moment to say that we've received a number of questions about the budget. And I just want to let you know that while the governor, we're pending the governor's signing of SB 101 while the governor signed SB 101 on June 27, upon the signed Budget Bill Junior and the Human Service and Early Childcare and Development Educational Omnibus Trailer Bills, which will be included in the legislative changes, the impact of our childcare and development programs. So because of this, we do plan on hosting a budget briefing in the month of August, where we will go over all the different legislations that has been enacted based on both the budget as well as what's been signed. And so that will be our moment to review everything with everyone so you're aware of what the budget includes. We also want to express gratitude to all of you as we celebrate our 2-year birthday anniversary of a new division. We've always appreciate your feedback, your support, and your continuous just candid feedback, I would say again, that really helps shape our division that we are. We're always looking for improvement, but we're always looking for opportunities to collaborate together. Let's go to the next slide. So with that final note of appreciation and gratitude, this is the end of our webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today and for tinkering with us. Please visit our childcare transitional website to learn more information about the transition itself, the programs that we are currently operating. And I will place the link to the website and the link to join the listserv in the chat. And again, appreciate everyone's time joining us today. Take care.